Do 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 do. Okay, I think I'm live right now. Let me see on my YouTube page. Oh, there we go. Go ahead and copy the link over to my group on Facebook. Da, da. Let me see. This is the pre-show, guys, so anything I do right here, forgive me. So, just checking my audio, make sure it sounds okay. What's up, guys? Anything I do right here, forgive me. So, okay, it doesn't appear like you guys can hear my fan. Checking my audio. Oh, okay, cool. So that's working. Live stream is going. And hey, what's up, guys? I got about 10 more minutes, but since I'm a little bit early, I guess I could start. So I got this N64 controller, this yellow orange color, and I had a request from somebody near and dear to me to make a wall mount for it. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take the time to design up a new product for this. I don't know, something like a wall mount, kind of state out what's my mission, what kind of features it's going to have, and hopefully maybe get to design it, hopefully complete it. And by next stream, maybe 3D print something. Oh, talking about, I on that last stream for the product development of the lower receiver, that one, I do have some prints of it, but I'm not proud of it. So I mean, I guess I could show you guys a piece of it. I don't remember when I streamed if I said I was gonna 3D print or not, but I do have some prints. Check this out. That's cool. So it's a low receiver, goes together pretty well. This one has a little bit of a fault. It broke. So that's an issue, but you know, everything else works. This is supposed to be 2 pieces 3D printed, and then I will take various subcomponents, that's third party, you know, aftermarket components, and basically have this assemble. So far I got majority of it to fit, especially with like the mag release and whatnot, and it looks pretty good so far. Hopefully I could show that. What I wanted to do with this is that I wanted to make the gearbox in the inside and then hold something called the Kythera, which is this right here. It's Polar Star Kythera system, engine, that propels BBs. So typically you need to take like a regular gearbox that you could buy and then cut it up to make it fit. Or in my case, cut it up, since I have something called the UGS, which is the gas holding stock. So that is the mission for that. Still working on it. I got some designs. I guess I could show you guys a portion of the design. Let me see of that. Have I opened it recently? That's the car. Oh, that's that. I don't know if I'm sure if I want to show you guys that, whatever. So that's the R99. So let's ignore that for a bit. But if I go here, open it up, I have a dummy gearbox, which I'm trying to convert to hold this. So future video for that. Exit that. This thing looks so cool. and then I'm not gonna save it. Okay. Now let's go over this. So an N64 controller, old classic Nintendo game controller. My mission is to make this mount onto the wall. Now let's think about this. So I want to make a wall mount for this. That is the primary objective. Why am I doing this? One, to display my controller in a nice clean fashion, and then two, hater vision, I guess. So you could display, you know, your limited edition controllers in a very clean way on your wall. Some features of it is that I wanted to use the clamp that it has internally on the N64 controller. When you plug in the card, you could actually clamp it down with a little clamp right there. So I'm hoping to reuse that clamp, and basically you could go around, unhook that clamp, and then take it out the wall. So it has a nice sturdy fit onto the wall, and it looks like it's just like a square block with some radiuses. And then below that, I wanted to have a little tether to hold the cables, something like this back there. I wanted to be able to hold it that way. So let's go over here, and you guys are about to see my artistry at its finest. Oh no. There we go. Actually, let's not do that because my art sucks. Let's actually start drawing that up. So I'm gonna make a square block to go into this. That's the first step I'm gonna do on this, is make that square block, make sure it fits in here. And then I'll focus on the base, and then a little tiny hook to hook on the cable so you can hold it like that. Let me think, if I actually want to hide these cables on that block, have it come out a little bit more, that might actually look pretty clean if I actually hold it on that way. So basically it holds on this way and then the wall. Let me try that. Let me close this up. Oh, if for anybody that is not part of the subscribers or Facebook group, I have a Facebook group. I typically show a bunch of the stuff I'm work in progress there. You guys can ask me almost anything, design wise, engineering wise. I try to answer the best I can. You know, I don't know everything, but I know quite a bit of things. And then typically I'm not afraid to give out a solution. Well, you know, like a theory of a solution. And again, really put my mind to it. Or sometimes I just don't know, but I mean that's rare. Okay, so I'm gonna go onto the front plane. Oh, so just a couple of the product development items. The material for this is going to be, you know, a 3D printed material, PLA plus. The manufacturing process is gonna be 3D printing. I don't know if I want to make it molded injected yet, but I might add a little bit of draft in there just in case I ever want to do mold injection. But since I don't have that capital in order to make a tool for mold injection, which is what's this? I don't know. They're upwards of like $10,000 with or, you know, without extractors and injectors. I'm not sure. I don't know. But maybe one day. But I mean, something like this, simple 3D printed parts. It look nice. It goes on the wall. People don't really see it. It's just something you know, people out there could 3D print, or I don't know if I really sell it. But for you guys, if you the purpose of this video here is to kind of show you my process of product development, and how do I eventually get to something that's a prototype in the development phase. And then a little bit of testing along with that. So yeah. So I went to the front plane, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do a center rectangle, and let's take some measurements. My measurements are gonna be millimeters. If you guys have different measurements, then I mean, if you guys prefer inches, then go right ahead. I add both dimension types there, as you guys see what my dimensions are in inches. So right here, I'm getting about 50.3 on the opening. So this opening right here, 50.3 millimeters. Let me measure that one more time. Yeah, about 53 millimeters. So that'll be my first measurement. Now what I'm gonna do is, if I put 50.3 exactly, it's not gonna fit. One, because the manufacturing process that we picked is not perfect. It won't make a perfect a perfect flat surface. That flat surface is gonna be jagged and rounded. Comes into GD&T, but the understanding the amount of error in your manufacturing process. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna make it a bit smaller, and I'll make it a bit smaller by 0.5 millimeter. So now it's gonna be 49.8, and I can make it 50 to be nice and straight, but I'm gonna be with my knowledge of what tolerances are, or the tolerance gaps. So let me go to my next dimension, and this will be the height of that slot. That one's gonna be about 14.3, and it's starting to sound like they actually added some tolerance in this by 0.3 millimeters, so it's a little bit shaky in there. So that's cool. I think they already done it. So maybe the part before was that dimension, and he just took it to the next level of gaps. So I'm taking just a little bit more because the 3D printing process is not so much accurate. And then I want to extrude out, and right now I'm only going to extrude up to the surface here. So I'm going to pick the highest point, and I'm going to do the depth of it. So I'm going to grab my part of my caliper there, grab the depth. Let's see if you guys can see it this way. And my depth on the highest side, not the lowest, on the highest side, 40.4, and I'm gonna go to the millimeter. I'm gonna go 41 millimeters. And what I'm doing here, so this one's gonna be 41 millimeters. This is gonna be technically the peg that holds my controller on there. So this piece is basically the square block that this goes into. And this is enough to clear flat. So the other side of that flat, or the other side of my flat plane, I could develop something else. Or I could develop the other half of it. Now that could be directly to the wall, but I may want to add a little bit more gap there. Or something else. I'm not sure yet. Actually, I might do the cable routering there. So, but I need to add a couple more items here. Right here on this surface, there is the connector down in there. I don't know if you guys see that, but it's that black thing down there. Oops. And I don't have a card on me. So the way I'm going to do that is, I'm going to guess. No. Yeah, actually. I'm going to take my calipers and I kind of stick them down in there. And my calipers can't exactly fit down there. However, I just need an approximation to get my measurement. I don't need to be exact. I just need an approximation to clear that. I don't need to be exact. So I'm getting about 30. And the other side, I'm getting about 8. And I would say it's not centered. One side looks taller. I'm going to say 2 millimeters on one side. And then the other side is going to be where my error is at. So I'm going to do another center rectangle. Make a vertical there. And then one side, oops. Now this is going to be the dimensions of the peg with a little bit extra love on there. So this side was going to be 30 millimeters. I'm going to make this 31 millimeters. Oops. And then the other side, I'm gonna make 9 millimeters. There we go. I'm gonna give this a little bit more love. I'm gonna make this 10 millimeters. Oops. And this one right here, 32 millimeters. And this is gonna be an extruded cut. And then up here, I got about 2. I'm gonna go about 1 millimeter there. Actually, let me think about this. I have 1 millimeter. That's fine. That's fine. So right here, I'm gonna touch the roof with only 1 millimeter of plastic, and then I got the side walls to add strength. So these side walls here are actually gonna be holding majority of the weight, which, I mean, it's not heavy, but it's there. And then I'm gonna go from the very top, or the very highest point on the controller, and get a rough dimension. I don't need to be exact with this one. I get about 31 millimeters. So the way I could actually do that is I could change my plane. I'm gonna go back to the front plane. Actually, I want to be 39. I'm gonna do some math here. So my extruded boss was at 41. I get about 31, so about 10 millimeters high. So I'm gonna do an extrude cut of about 11 millimeters. There we go. And that's the cutout for the peg in there. Oh, let me go back in here and just do a quick save in here. Save to my PC. That is the R99 stuff. I'm gonna go save this into a new folder. For now, I'm gonna call it N64 wall mount. Oops, not N64 wall mount. That means the console. N64 controller wall mount. Did I put too many L's in there? I don't know. Okay. So now I'm gonna go on. So now I have the peg to clear for the not the peg. Now I have the cutout to clear the connector, and I got the actual peg that goes in here. Now my next step is to kind of get that clamp in there. You guys see that? There's a little clamp in there. Clamp. Clamp. And this one I'm gonna really need a guess. Not guess. I'm not gonna guess, but I'm gonna need some dimensions. And what I can mainly do is I could get the dimension, and it looks like about the same as before. Now the clamping portion, I'm just gonna use my eyeballs for a bit. Let me think about this for a second. So the hook goes up this way. Now I don't know the thickness of that hook, but I'm gonna go with 2 millimeters. And it's about the same height, so 10 millimeters. Let's say that's about 2 millimeters from wall, 8 millimeters. So, and I'm gonna make a 3 millimeter slit cut, and then I'm gonna grab the thickness of this cutout right there. I'm gonna go 19 millimeters for that square pocket. So I'm gonna extrude here, make another center rectangle. I'm gonna grab a center line just to center my rectangle. Oops. This one's gonna be 2 millimeters. By 19 millimeters. And this is the piece that I'm probably gonna need to go back and reprint just to find out if I hit that correctly or not. However, right now I'm gonna guess 3 millimeters. So I'm gonna guess 377 millimeters. So let me think right there. I may guess a little bit less to make sure I clear it. Let me go 5. 5, make that slot about 3 millimeters. And that should help me. At least it won't fall from the wall. And I'm gonna make that height. I can actually make that height go all the way through. I don't need it to be a certain depth, so. Up to next. There we go. And I'm gonna press OK. Oh, right here, I'm actually gonna do a little bit of draft. Actually, I may do that later on, I'm not sure. Let me think real quick. I don't need the draft now. I can do the draft later on. Now I want to add the portion that the cable will wrap around. And I don't want it to wrap around just exactly. I want it to have a little bit of a dip in there, just so you can have a clear area where to wrap. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to make another center rectangle. But I'm going to make it a bit smaller than now. Actually, what I could do instead of that, I'm going to take this to offset entities. Do the reverse. 3 millimeters. I'm going to do something like that. Let me see how much cable I have here. Get a rough estimate. I get around 20 millimeters is good enough. So 20 millimeters. I'm gonna extrude boss. I'm gonna actually extrude this 25 millimeter, 26 millimeters. Sorry. The extra 6 millimeters is because I want to have a bit of a chamfer in there. And later on, I'll show you guys what I mean by that chamfer. Oops, I want this to merge with my other body. Merge. Press OK. I'll show you guys what I mean by that chamfer in a bit. And now I can actually go ahead and make my wall mount. So let me think about this part for a bit. Now my wall mount holds my cable like this. And then it's gonna be right like that. So that base, for it not to swivel, I'm gonna require 2 mounting holes. And I'm gonna make those about 1 inch apart, 25 millimeters or so, I believe. Actually, let me see how much room I have here. The only thing is, I'm thinking about a standard American wall. I think each stud, I think they call it, each of the columns in an American home. Sorry, I don't know other people's architecture, but I believe it's a 6-inch wide piece. So how wide is this one in inches? 6 or so. This is 2 inches. This will be fine to mount on the wall. It could probably even mount to drywall. I'm just thinking about if they go to wood. I think it'd be fine if I make the base about 2 inches in width. I'll probably make it the same width as the actual little adapter piece. And then I'll just go down from there. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab a corner rectangle now. Drag about, and I only need just enough room to bring in screws this way. I don't need too much room, and a screwdriver. Oops, I need a smart dimension. I'm gonna grab the dimension from here, grab that, and I have a screwdriver here. So let me see, about 31 millimeters. So I'll make 40 millimeters. That's probably too much, but let's stay with it for now and then change it later on. And then the screw type, let me see screw types I could use. Oh, if you guys never use this, it's amazing. I would recommend using this, but it's called McMaster-Carr. McMaster-Carr is basically a hardware online store, and the best part about it, and I'll show you guys, like, let's see. So I could just type in screws. I'm gonna go to And I have all, you know, all these little filters you could go about. Just think about what kind of filters you need. I need well, first I need a flathead. I'm gonna go flathead screws. Because I don't want to make this too, actually, yeah, flathead screw, go flat. Let me go down here. I'm looking for wood, so I want a pointed or blunt. I'm looking for the type of screws. There's usually like an option here for go to wood. Maybe I'll go back home. I'll go to screws and bolts. There we go. I'm gonna go to tapping screws. Let me see. I'm looking for drywall screws, fasten panels to drywall materials such as wood. There we go, drywall screws. Screws for joining drywall to wood. I don't need that kind of stuff, really. So let's go to pointed. And this all seems like inch, which is cool, I guess. And we're gonna go for a number 8 screw. And it doesn't need to be that long. These are massively long. But that length doesn't matter. But the cool part about McMaster-Carr is you go to product detail and they actually offer you the SolidWorks model. So that model is, you know, basically gives you, you know, one, it gives you a placeholder to put in your 3D model, have a part number, have specs to it, tie all that information to your 3D model, as well as you get a 3D representation of what you'll be getting. So I love that. I probably won't be using these exact screws, but I am going to recommend a number 8 screw. So that's the part we're going to use. So I'm going to go here. I'm going to make this the thickness. Actually, the thickness. Can I go backwards with this? No, that is fine how it is. I'm just wondering. I know what to do. So I'm going to make half the thickness here. I'm going to put 10 millimeters. Actually, 5 millimeters. I want to make it 5 millimeters. 5 millimeters, and I'm going to add another 5 here. I want to go to right plane. And then right here, I'm going to add a bit of a chamfer. Go straight down. We get dimension to the center of the wrap, here to here. I'm gonna go about 20 millimeters. Here to here, I want 5 millimeters. And then this piece right here is gonna be 45. Oops. Wait, what did I do wrong? There we go. Extrude boss up to surface, in the second direction up to surface, and then merge those results. There we go. Then the next thing I'm going to do is I want to radius these edges right here. I believe, I forgot what the thickness was, but I'm gonna go 3 first. There we go. And then the radius on these, I could pick something small, honestly. But this back radius is gonna be 3 only for the wrapping. You know, it goes around and around. And then what I was gonna show you is that I'm gonna put a chamfer of 3 millimeters there. Boom. So we got that kind of deal. And then I can honestly just take the radius here, evaluate, measure, about 6 millimeters. And this will be a detailed radius. I won't actually do anything. There we go. I'm just going to hide this in my frozen bar for later on. There here with my N64 controller, I'm going to give this a chamfer instead. about 3 millimeters. Give it some appearance. Oh, before I start adding all these chamfers and fillets, let me put in the holes. I'm gonna go hole wizard on SolidWorks. I'm gonna select a flat head. I'm gonna go to a anti-inch. I'm gonna pick a size number 8 through all, and that's about it. Now I'm gonna select here. Let me grab a center line. Mirror it across. I believe I said about 1 inch difference. So about 1 inch. I can honestly just leave that as 25, but that's fine. And then from here to here. And the reason why I'm picking that spot, actually I could probably pick the other spot. I'm gonna do that, because that might change. And this is where I could probably eliminate some of the room. I'm gonna go to 6 millimeters just for a little bit of clearance there. Press OK. And now all of this I could get rid of. Evaluate. Let me save my model real quick. And let's go to measure. From here to here. Now I want the closest distance. Minimum distance. Oh, I got about 11.6 millimeters there. So let's go ahead and edit this. And what I could first do, let me think. I want to make this about the same. Here to here. Got 1.7. So I want to take about 10 millimeters out. About 10 millimeters. I still want room for the screwdriver. So I think what I could do is I could take it down 30 millimeters. There we go. Ah, that looks pretty good. I didn't have enough room for everything else. And then let's give it some radiuses. There we go. That'll be for this portion of it, for the cable. And I'm wondering if I should tuck this somewhere or plug it in. Should I have like a plug piece that goes into that? I'm not sure. It wraps around, wraps around, wraps around. And then, nah, I'm not gonna do a plug piece. That might be too difficult to remove after. It's just gonna go round and round and round again, and you can let it go and just hover there. And that should clip onto the wall mount. And I'll show you guys a quick trick here. Not really a trick, but a little design helping. But if you have like something going into something, you know, a peg into a hole, I recommend to add a chamfer there, about 1 millimeter at least, to kind of help guide it. Now this one right here, that's probably fine if it's a little bit sharp there, but that helps guide it in to the hole. And that looks pretty good. Let me add some additional aesthetics. I'm gonna use the same chamfer here. I'm gonna do these down here. And the way I think I'm gonna 3D print it is like this. This may require some support material. Let me think, is that how I want it? Grab my 2. I'm gonna use the 2 millimeters for majority around 2, 2, 2, 2. I could just click that. There we go. Oh, this one as well. Not yet. I'm gonna leave that one alone. There we go. And then to avoid elephant's foot, I'm gonna put a 0.5 millimeter chamfer there. And then I'm gonna add one more radius. Just to kind of clean up that. Nah, I'm just gonna leave it like that. That looks pretty cool like that. And my chamfer here did something weird. Oh, the radius is down. That's why. Haha. Order the radiuses. And there you go. I got a simple clamp that go onto the wall. I could probably remove some material. I'm thinking about removing material here. I don't know yet. I'll decide later on, but how it is now, it's okay. I'm gonna make my first prototype. Right now we're at half hour. I actually did that quicker than I thought. I'm gonna save that. Let me think about anything else I could do to this while I'm here. I want to have it standing up like that. I want some sort of aesthetic here. Some sort of, I may add my logo right there, or maybe just 3D solid concepts. I'm gonna check the section view of this. It looks pretty good. I don't think it'll fail anytime soon unless someone starts hanging off of it. I was even thinking putting a rib, but the rib's gonna get in the way of the controller. But basically it wraps around and around and around. Basically you have it hanging. I'm wondering if at the very end I put a little bit of a clamp to hold the wire in. Just so it doesn't come loose. How thick is the wire? The wire is about 4 millimeters. So what I could do is I could go right here. And then I'm gonna do a, actually before, let me go back in my tree so I don't destroy any of the radiuses. Right here. I'm gonna create a center line. Make that feature. Go about this way. Actually, I'm gonna make half of it only. Mirror this about my mirror plane. Press OK. I'm gonna define this before I change it to a radius. There we go. Trim. I'm gonna make this +1 of whatever it was, so it's 2 radius +1, so 3 millimeters. Let's make it 2.5. I don't need it that long. Make these at least 2 millimeters thickness. And I'm gonna bring it down just a bit. So what I'm thinking here, wraps around, and then you can finally hold it down there. So it either goes around this area. That may be what I do. Leave it there. About 14 millimeters. And then here, oops. I'm gonna hold shift here to here. Shift. That will give me the smaller radius holding shift. 1 millimeter. And then I want to hold about 10 millimeters of cable. Just to hold it down. I may just end up removing this. I'm not sure yet. But at least it gives it a little bit of pizzazz. And then let's go back down the tree. Let me see what kind of features. I could probably add a chamfer. It's gonna make it 0, I believe. Oh, I gotta first merge it with the other bit. There we go. Yeah, I knew it's gonna make it 0. But that might give it some coolness to it. There we go, like that. And then the 2mm radiuses. There we go. Oops, I missed one there. You see how I'm reusing radiuses? I mean, you don't need a radius for every single tool. I just have about 2 different ones, 3 different ones. 3 different radiuses. You don't need too many. But here I do, because I don't want to cut the cable. So I'm gonna add a 0.5mm radius right there, there, here, and then all the way around. And that will give it that kind of look there. I like that. Looks pretty cool. Actually, if it's at the end of the cable here, if they choose to put this part into there, how much is the radius? About 14mm. And yeah, let's do that. So I'm gonna offset from the wall about 14mm, 15mm to kind of, hopefully it doesn't make it too clunky. I don't like it. Let's just put it at a, like there. If it goes out too much, it's gonna look horrible. But at the same time, I'm kind of thinking, is like, does it need it? Does it honestly need it? Do I do the Elon Musk thing and say delete the part, delete the process? Well, we can leave it there, and if it doesn't come out well in the print, we can always remove it. That's the point of prototyping. Okay, that looks good. I do want to add a little bit of radius onto this edge. Looks too sharp. And actually, I have to do here first. Do the same thing to this side. Might have to do here first. There we go. Boo. The magic of fillets. There we go. Add the 1mm radiuses to clean up the entire part. There we go. Doesn't make it such a hard edge kind of item. The chamfer can stay the same. Oh, you know what? Right here too, I forgot. Chamfer. Oops. I guess I just didn't like it there. Chamfer. Chamfer. Just so it could slip in there. Now, in this video, we kind of started strategizing of how to make a. Now, I mean, I thought about it just right now too. I mean, I thought of, I was like, oh man, it'll be cool to make a wall mount, but all of this design work was right here. Remember that. This is just a prototype part. This may not actually be the end result of all this. It could change based on other people's opinion. But one thing I've learned is that engineering is a communication tool. And this is communicating my thoughts, our as engineers, our thoughts, our interpretation of the solution of whatever sales and marketing wants, of what could be. And that typically solution could come from various people having various features, like we discussed in this, like various features, or how many screws we want this, how should it clamp on, how should it look, etc., etc. And then as engineers, we deep dive into the details, like material selection, the processes, the manufacturing processes to create it, the strength of it, and then kind of funneling down those ideas that other people have. And then basically when you come out with this prototype and show other people, that helps them to better imagine it of the final product, rather than going through the entire processes and manufacturing, buying tooling, and then come out to finally actually the part, and then you finally figure out, oh, it's not what I really thought. I want to change this, I want to change that, I want to change blah blah blah. Right here, when you're design and prototyping, is the cheapest level. Something like most of us have capability. If you're watching this, you may have a 3D printer. You may have some design background already, and you already have the capability of doing this at little cost. If you're doing it for someone else, charge them. But this is the low cost end, and then as you start buying tools and sourcing people to do extra work, then it starts costing more and more. And then this is the space, the brainstorming area where you could kind of design at freedom. Right now, what I designed is something I would only prototype. I would not make a tool out of this. I will not waste my money making a tool out of this yet. However, I do want to see how it looks. So I'm going to 3D print one, and then I want to mount it up. Some things, more things are rushing to my mind as I'm looking at this, other aspects of it, adding logos and blah, 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 that as well. But kind of like safety things, like for now, looking at, I closed myself out of my computer. Give me one moment. Looking at this, all the screws are here. There's nothing on top to kind of hold it. So, is that enough? 2 screws to mount this to the wall? Maybe, maybe not. Logo could probably go here or under here to make it look cool. Make sure I put the clamp on the right side. Just this other things. Maybe you could add a little bit of a kind of a piece here to hold the cable going straight up so it doesn't twist and turn. Maybe that's something we do. But that could be dealt once you have like a meeting or something. The ideas will flow. For me, this is the design. This is what I interpreted. I'm gonna 3D print a prototype, and then hopefully during the next stream I could show you guys, and maybe even mount it on my wall. Hopefully I could put it up somewhere. My finger, this on this wall or over here. Don't know yet. Maybe I'll put it up. Maybe I won't. Depends how it looks. Hope it looks slick. That's what I'm hoping for. Oh, and another thing is, don't be afraid to print out like a 1-to-1 of this. Put it on on a regular letter size piece of paper and just print it out 1-to-1. See how it kind of looks. That kind of helps me sometimes to kind of get my bounds of what am I actually making, because in SolidWorks you can kind of lose a little bit of proportionality, and you don't really realize how big is something, how small is something. For me, typically I take about 10 millimeters, and for me, like, this is kind of my rule of thumb, is like my finger is about like 10 millimeters thick, and basically that tip of my finger is 10 millimeters thick. That's basically my proportions. Like, oh, I want to make it 10 millimeters, about fingers. A finger amount difference, like what you saw here in this area, what I did. Okay. Let me see. Anybody in the chat? Anybody got any questions? Anything like that? Suggestions? Feedback? Heck, something you want to add to this design? Sharing this design. I'll put it up on my Coles 3D. If anybody interested in 3D printing it, first I'm gonna prototype it myself, make sure it fits and goes to the wall and actually works and fits the controller. Then I'll post it. And if you guys are familiar with my products, I only post something I'm confident about. I wouldn't post something that I'm not confident about. And I routinely make revisions to it. So revision 1 and revision 2, there'll be 2 different pieces. Once, revision 2 typically be more streamlined design than the first one. Usually we're making like large improvements to like performance or handling or material savings, stuff like that. Other than that, I think that's cool to wrap up the stream. I didn't go the full hour like I typically do, but I think this is good enough to end the stream on, and you guys get a good amount of information out of this. I didn't add the draft. I just realized that I could probably add the draft later on. I want to see how it just fits just like that. And plus, it's not gonna be injected molded. Something like this probably not even possible to inject and mold, especially with this piece down here. Probably this way with side injectors. Chew. Half down, half down. Slider, 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 slider. Maybe? I don't know. The draft would have to be kind of considered if you're going to make this for tooling, but right now the design is more based on features than manufacturability. We probably do manufacturability of this for like injection molding. And if it's going to be CNC router, it's pretty much fine. Only the undercuts need to be incorporated. Probably the cuts down here. I'll probably make this like a full radius instead of a chamfer for the undercut of that. For like a ball mill to basically cut out this area. Especially here, it'll be a little difficult to get to. Okay, so that's the stream, guys. I hope you guys liked it, and I'll see you guys during the next one. Peace.